Hello, welcome to Hitchhiking Stars YouTube channel. Today isn't Friday, so today is Wednesday, the 14th of December, and I decided to do some extra videos during the week. So rather than just letting a video out on Fridays, I'm usually posting videos on Friday about what's the astrological transits for the week, so you can kind of plan ahead, you can go with the flow, you can see how you can work with these energies there to your benefit and empower yourself and make a creative expression of those symbols there in your life. So rather than talking about the astrological transits, I'd like to create an extra video every week as well to talk about a specific astrological aspect that can be interpreted as a transit, but mainly can be interpreted as a natal chart. So if you have it in your natal chart, then it's something for you to look into. Or if you're researching in general, looking into astrological aspects and trying to understand someone's chart, I mean, it's one of the greatest exciting things about astrology is to start looking into people's charts, and you get your family's charts and your lover's chart and your best friend's chart, and you start looking at everybody else's configurations as well, because you want to understand them, right? You want to help them understand themselves as well, or perhaps even understand why you have so many conflicts with that person, and so on and so forth. So I thought I'd probably do 2 videos a week, one for now, and see how that goes, how I feel, right? You have to feel right. So the first video in the week being about a specific configuration, and you can request configurations there in the comments, or end a video towards the end of the week where I'm going to still continue talking about the astrological transits and navigating these transits. So I know what I just explained now, but I really wanted to mention something which I forgot to mention in the last video, or I didn't notice very much, and I think it's a little window of opportunity that we're having. So before I get into configuration, you bear with me, I'm going to share my screen and I'm gonna show you the chart for, this is like 3:46 a.m. on Thursday, or São Paulo time, which that'll be like early morning in the UK, for example, or even earlier in other parts of the world. But what I want to say is 14th of December. So what's happening is that what we're having is the formation of a grand trine. So if I move again, that's that 3:46, 15th of December. Moon is 11 degrees Virgo. Mercury is at 12 degrees Capricorn. And North Node at 12 Taurus. And Uranus is at 15 Taurus. So there's like a nice grand trine there. So they're all like 120 degrees to each other in the earth element. Now, I love the earth element. Obviously, I'm a bit biased. I got a lot of earth in my chart, and I feel that this grand trine can help us, give us a little bit of a removal of obstacles. I love what Bernadette Brady once said about trines by transit. So we can have a removal of obstacles and all of the things that we need to accomplish. So do you need to bring something into life? Do you need to create something between today and tomorrow? Do you need to kind of come up with something real tangible that you can present to others, that you can show others? Do you need to come up with a business plan, or do you need to do some cleaning at your house and come up with something that's real and tangible and material in a kind of earthy sense? Well, that's a great day to do that. So I thought I'd mention this for you all, so you can use this in your day. So I'm using this definitely because I have a talk to do this coming Saturday, and I'll be talking about Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is moving to Aquarius next year. We're in this liminal stage between Pluto and Capricorn and Pluto and Aquarius, and next year will be the first step on that stage where Pluto will move into Aquarius, back into Capricorn, back into Aquarius a couple of times. So that's a big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal for all of us collectively, individually as well. Whatever that falls in your chart, we're talking about what your collective role or your individual role in the collective change will be. So that's a really, really big deal. So I'm doing a presentation today. So this grand trine would be very helpful, very handy, because I need to come up with my slides. So this is what I'm doing today. Now, in terms of a configuration, Because last week's video, I was talking so much about Venus-Neptune when I was actually meaning Venus-Jupiter, I thought I'd do a little video about Venus-Neptune configurations. So if you have a Venus square Neptune, conjunction Neptune, opposite Neptune, so those are like what we call the hard aspects in astrology. So if you have a Venus in any of these aspects to Neptune, then that will be talking about a tendency, a tendency in the Venusian impulse in your psyche there. Now, Venus stands for your values, how you express yourself. What do you find attractive? How do you find yourself attractive as well? What do you need to feel attractive? But I think in a deeper sense, Venus will really be talking about our values. What's the most valuable things for us? So that Venus will be colored by Neptune. I love to think about astrology charts as like watercolor paintings, and I'm not sure if you've ever experimented with watercolors, but depending on the amount of water that you use, those colors, they kind of blend together, they mix together in different ways. So I think there is a little bit of that when it comes to our astrology charts and how we express the tendencies that will be symbolically represented in our charts. And there are many times in our lives that we'll be experiencing in various different levels. So it doesn't really mean that it's always this way or it's always that way, or we're flexible beings, we're complex beings, right? So we're not really trying to use astrology to put people in a box and to simplify people's psyches, people's psychology. We're not really doing this. We're trying to open possibilities and brainstorm with those possibilities of what works for you, what makes your heart sing, what makes you feel really centered in your authenticity, that you feel really alive and joyful to be alive and expressing yourself. So for a Venus-Neptune, I think values will be really connected with a spirituality of some kind, with the sense of transcendence that I think Neptune talks about. Now, obviously, Neptune is an outer planet, and outer planets are complex as well to talk about. They're definitely not individualized and more straightforward, like if we talked about the sun, or if we talked about the moon or Mercury, etc. There's something really mysterious about Neptune, and we could spend hours and hours and give a whole lecture on Neptune itself. Neptune stands for scapegoating, for transcendence of all kinds, but escapism as well. So Venus-Neptune might really value some kind of escapism, some kind of altered states of consciousness, for example, at times. But it also might have a deep love for art, for music, and be deeply touched by artistic expressions as well. Venus-Neptune might find very difficult to set boundaries, to say no. I think because of this sense of transcendence and the value of feeling close to others and being kind as well to others. This is another way that Venus-Neptune can come out. It could also mean that it's very difficult to say no, to help, to put yourself first in a sort of a healthy manner. So you might feel guilty if someone asks for help and you don't respond straight away. I find that flower remedies, Bach flower remedy, Centauri is very helpful with that, and pine is very helpful with that. That's like two combinations that can be very powerfully helpful, and I've used them plenty of times. Centauri helps to say no and be assertive. Pine helps you not to feel guilty about it, because once you say no, you might feel guilty. Also, not to think that Venus-Neptune is always going to be like a little flower that's always really kind and etc. Because there are like plenty of like serial killers examples that have a lot of Pisces and a very active Neptune as well. And I was thinking about that. I think John Gacy is one of them. The Night Stalker, I think, is another one that's also like has a heavy Neptune Piscean chart. I think he has like Sun, Moon, and Pisces, and etc. And we tend to think, oh yeah, Pisces is lovely sign, and Neptune is lovely planet that transcends and is kind and blah blah blah. But it could also be not recognizing boundaries and feeling that other people are an extension of you. That's another way that Neptune, or that strong Neptune Piscean, could come out in a sort of more pathological way, in a way that's a little unhealthy. For others, I suppose. I mean, not being able to say no is not very healthy for you as well. So yeah, at best, I think Venus-Neptune is great with arts, great with any creative pursuit. So it's really important if you have, I think the main message here, because again, I want to keep these videos a little sweet and, you know, be like little pearls of ideas and insights for us to think about and discuss together as well. So I'll really encourage you to write down your experience with Venus-Neptune people. If you have a Venus-Neptune in your chart, what signs they are and how do you experience them as well, so we can exchange that together and continue the discussion. But I think the main thing, if a client comes to see me and they have a Venus-Neptune, is to find a way that works for them to be creative, to transcend existence. Do you love to write? Is that Venus-Neptune in the 3rd house or involves the mercurial signs? Well, write poetry, creative writing, you know, something that can enable you to experience this sort of higher realms in a way that works for you, in a way that's creative, that doesn't disturb the cycles of your life, the cycles of rest and achievements and the ambitions that you have, and etc. It could be dance. That's another one that I really think about with a Venus-Neptune. So those are some of the things, you know, spirituality as well, like practicing yoga daily, doing meditation daily, or having some kind of religion that you believe in that is life-sustaining for you. So going for, you know, the mass every Sunday, and that helps you with your inner life, with your beliefs. I think that's a great shout as well for Venus-Neptune. So this is it for today. If you have any aspect that you would love to know a little bit more because you have it in your chart, or a sign of the zodiac that you want to explore a little bit more here in this little snippets, write down in the comments. It would be really great if you like this video as well. If you do like, I mean, if you don't like, don't worry, you don't need to like. But if you do like this video, just click the like button, because that really helps me to get the message across a little bit wider and further. So that's it. And I'll be seeing you all on Friday. So in a couple of days, I'll be talking about next week's astrological transits as well. So till then, take care.